Yo, what is happening everyone? This is AZN here. Today you guys are watching another figure review, and this time it is on the S.H.Figuarts Makima from Chainsaw Man. So without wasting too much of your time, let's get right into it. So a quick look at the box here. We got the window of the Makima figure. We got a promotional shot of Makima right there. We got Bandai, Spirits, Articulation, the quality sticker approval. On this side we got Makima pointing. On this side it just says S.H.Figuarts Makima, all the other stuff. We got the manga themed colors, of course, and also more promotional shots of Makima and a whole bunch of Japanese text that I cannot read. For accessories, it comes with a decent amount of hands. She come with like these splayed open hands, these I want to say like this carrying one, this relaxed one, this other one. Actually I think this is one for like carrying Denji's hand, I believe. Another splayed open hands, 2 pointed ones, and one carrying a lollipop, and 2 that are folding. These are sculpted in, so you can't really separate these. And also another one that's, I don't know, like more relaxed, I guess. Anyway, that's about it for the hands. So as for faces, we have her default face, which is more of like this emotionless smile. All of these faces are pretty emotionless. That's pretty much part of her character. That's what she's not really known for, being the most expressive type of character throughout the show or the manga, so it's fine that most of the faceplates look like these anyway. So as continuing on, we have a open mouth face. I want to say this actually looks similar to the closing mouth one. Another smiley face, but this time she looks a lot more colder and more calculated. A one eye open and one eye closed, and last one being this curious looking one. She also has interchangeable legs, so all you really gotta do is just take both of these off. They come out pretty easy, and you just push these in, push these right in here. Sorry, give me a sec. Try to do this on camera. So you can have her in a squatting position. Oh, this one's not all the way in. Alright, now they're in. Let me just position these correctly, and it looks a bit awkward because I don't have the open ends in, but that's how it'll look when you put these crouching knees in. I still think I have to adjust them a little bit, but that's how they look. And last but not least, her jacket. So all you really gotta do, well, first of all, I do want to mention how well made this jacket is. It's simple by design, but it works. So all you gotta do is just pretty much slide this in. And I want to say some of these pieces are actually wired. Yeah, they're wired. So you just slide this in. And this is actually one of the first Figuarts figures we gotten that actually has like an actual cloth piece, if you don't count the Guts figure, obviously, that has the cloth cape. Although I do feel like the Itachi figure that'll be coming out the next couple months will blow this one out the water, because that one seemed like it's just gonna be a bit better than this. But hey man, I don't want to say I'm ungrateful, because like I actually think it's pretty cool that she does come with this jacket, even though she doesn't wear it a whole lot in the anime or the manga. I still think it's cool that they went out of the way to do that. And the cool thing is you can actually still move it even with the cloth piece. Excuse me. So there's not going to be any restrictions when you move this figure around. But I won't display her with the jacket because I'm worried that the paint might rub on it a little bit, and I don't want to deal with all that. And I'm also worried that all this length is going to get on it too. That's the one thing I don't like about like black clothes. Like you got to get rid of all that lint and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, I really think it's cool that this jacket, that it came with this jacket. I really hope that Aki comes with this too. So yeah, like I think that's kind of a big deal for them to do something like this, especially for a figure around this price. You would think it cost a bit more, but it didn't. I low-key kind of wish they did this with power early on, instead of like having, you know, like the sculpted jacket and stuff like that. They could have just made her you know, like make like a cloth jacket for power to have it off, so you have the option to not have the jacket on her. But it is what it is, I guess. They did it with Makima, so maybe a 2.0 power, maybe. Taking a closer look at the detail in the sculpting, her face actually looks pretty good. I really like how they sculpted it. Now I know some people complain that she looks bland, but like I already said earlier in the video as I was going over the faces, this is pretty much part of her character. She's not like a expressive type of character. She's mostly cold and calculated and emotionless, so of course the faces are gonna look somewhat bland. But aside from that, I really like the painting and sculpting on the figure. Looks pretty good. I really like the red. I really think they killed it with the smile. Like this definitely looks like Makima, and the pupils look really well done too. Nothing really else much to go over, to be honest. It's pretty simple, so nothing too complicated to go over. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but she's not caked up. I'm sorry, she's not caked up. The fan art fooled y'all. She's not stacked as she seems to be. But yeah, but aside from that, the sculpting detail looks pretty nice. I was also worried that the gap around the torso area was gonna look off in person, but in fact it actually does look a lot better. So it's way more hidden than it was in the promotional shots that we got like a little while ago. But there's a couple of things I don't like. One, I don't like this gappage behind her back. I just think it looks kind of weird. I would have much preferred if it was like just like a cutout right there to get more range, but I'll go over more of that issue once I go to the articulation and all that. But the overall sculpting on the figure, I think it looks pretty damn good, so I can't really complain too much. So for scaling, here she is standing next to the Jada Toys Mega Man and also the NECA Leonardo the Last Ronin. Here she is standing next to some other waifus I got in my collection, such as the S.H.Figuarts Sakura from Naruto and also the S.H.Figuarts Nobara Kugisagi from Jujutsu Kaisen. And of course, here she is standing next to the other Chainsaw Man figures we got in this line so far, and I'm pretty much up to date with this line. I'm missing Katana Man though. I still got to get my hands on him. So once I get my hands on Katana Man, I'm pretty much caught up with this line. As for articulation, her head can go that far up and that far down, can tilt side to side, can do her full 360. Her braid is also articulated, so it can go side to side. It can even tilt a little bit as well without an issue. Around the arms, they go around pretty smoothly. It can go sideways with no problem. It can go full 360 with no problem. We have a single jointed, I don't think there's a bicep swivel. Well, actually there is, my bad. So there's actually a bicep swivel right there. We also have a single jointed arm right there that could bend about over 90, and we got like a wrist joint, of course. Now this is where I feel like the figure kind of goes down, you know, kind of goes downhill a little bit. So around the torso, it can bend. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. My bad. Hold on. All right, there we go. It can bend a little bit, but not too far. This piece helps, but even then, it doesn't even go down that much or go back that much. I kind of just wish they just put like a cut right there, and I understand they were trying to, you know, hit it and didn't want to break up the scope completely, but I feel like that still would have been much better. You would have got much better range if you just had this part like split instead of like this back piece. It just looked kind of weird. I don't know, but anyway, there's a joint back there. I keep popping this off. Oop, the legs popped off too. Hold on, give me. Alright, never mind. Anyway, so it can do its 360, and around the legs can go out that far back, and thankfully this is like a soft plastic piece, so it won't get in the way too much while moving the legs, so I appreciate that. And it can't really split that much at all. This is probably the weakest part of this figure, is like the legs, or like around the thigh area. I honestly thought they was actually gonna do like the type 1 hips, like what the older DBZ figures had, when you had them like pulled down and you were able to take off the legs too. I thought they was gonna do something like that with Makima, but that doesn't seem to be the case, so that is pretty disappointing that it can't really go that far, but I mean, it is what it is, I guess. And we have like a single jointed knee that can bend about over 90. We have like a toe hinge that can bend. We have an ankle rocker, a single jointed ankle joint right there, so that's pretty good too. So overall, the articulation is passable. I wouldn't say this is like the best articulated figure in the Chainsaw Man line. I definitely think this is probably one of the weaker ones, and I'm not saying this is like the worst figure ever made, or it's like the worst figure in the line or whatever. It's not any of that. It's just a decent figure. It's just okay. It's just alright. You know, there's some things I do find to be questionable, like how they made this back piece. I wish they just would have did what they did with most other Figuarts figures, when you just have it just split so you can have her bend a bit more. But since this piece is right here, even with it being soft, like you still can't really bend it that much. So this is like, I don't know, man. In the legs, I feel like they should spend more time modding just a bit more, so we can get more range out of it, because you can't really move this at all. If you do push it too much, obviously it will come off. So aside from that, the articulation is decent. Time for my final thoughts on this figure. It's a pretty decent figure overall. I really do like the sculpting. The articulation, like I already said, is passable. Nothing too much to write home about, you know, but it's decent enough. I really do like the fact that they did include the cloth jacket for this figure, unlike the Figma, and also the lollipop accessory. I feel like those are kind of essential for a Makima figure. Well, actually not really. Well, I can't really get into any spoilers. Why I said it like that? Anyway, I can't really get into any spoilers about what she does later on in the manga, because obviously none of it hasn't been animated yet, and we got a long minute into then. So if you do want to get into Chainsaw Man, I highly recommend reading the manga and yeah, I guess there's nothing else really to say. If I have to give my honest score on this, it would definitely be like a 7.5 out of 10. It's pretty low compared to the other Chainsaw Man figures in the line. Well, Denji, although I didn't review him, I actually probably put him in the same score as Makima, probably a bit lower. So it's still a decent figure. It's not the worst figure in the world. You can get some stuff done with it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite though. It's far from my favorite. It's a little above average. Yeah, anyway, so this has been AZN. This concludes my review on the S.H.Figuarts Makima. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a great and safe day, and I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.